the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
How good is that? It is Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie. Welcome to the Tuesday podcast.
Tuesday.
TikTok, man, it's a brand new app. I'm into it. Anyway, my favourite TikTok account is Eastern Suburbs Mum in New South Wales.
Okay.
And it's
What do they do, mate?
Well, it's relatable for me because it's just, you go around to some of these great brands and then you unbox them on a video. And I get so excited seeing this Eastern Suburbs Mum unboxing, her new Hermes bag or Hermes.
Sure.
This one is all about Hermes sandals. The thing is, though, she got the price mixed up.
I like the one you do, the opposite of the Eastern Suburbs, which is just a bit more common man, which I really like. When you unboxed those tracksuit pants from Lowe's the other day.
That was amazing.
I thought, man, they're perfect, aren't they?
Yeah, I know. And I didn't really want the big man in the video with me, but he just happened to be there.
G'day, Fitzy!
At Lowe's!
So two different options there.
And I said to him, are they sitting too high on my hip? And he said, no, they're low.
Okay. All right, enjoy it all on the podcast.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Let's talk about Katy Perry last night. Scary scenes when a man stormed the stage. She freaks out. He gets tackled. Have a listen. He's up there doing the floss.
There's never going to be another show like it, so just enjoy it, Sydney.
Big decision. Like, if you're close enough, like he's getting tackled and taken off the stage, hog-tied.
Well,
See you, champ.
let's be honest. I mean, he wasn't threatening at all, was he? He did try to put his arm around Katie. He was doing the floss dance. But, he was just up there, I suppose, just to get close to her. A lot of people do that. Back in the old days, everyone used to jump up on a stage.
He's embarrassed himself by doing the floss. Very dated reference. Times have moved on. I'm surprised he didn't plank.
Peter Garrett on the Northern Beaches used to just get sweating people up next to him all the time, just hugging him.
If you've paid a fortune to sit so close to the stage and you make the decision to miss half the concert because you wanted to get on stage and floss, well, you probably go into the idiot category for me.
Yeah, fair.
You're an idiot. Okay. I don't know if he's listening this morning. Do they lock him up? Do you do an overnighter for that sort of stage storming? Tommy, when you were streaking at the SCG, did you?
I think he will be banned. I know he was ejected.
From all Katy Perry concerts?
Yeah. But I think you would be banned for life from Kudos, probably.
Oh, my God. You should have done that, Tom, so you don't have to go with your daughter again.
No, I had a wonderful time, despite not being in the demo as a 40-plus grand.
That's right.
I had such a good time, and she performs again
It's a big show.
tonight.
It's an awesome show.
Flying around on a giant dragonfly.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah. Also says here that he will never be able to register for MasterChef as well.
Really? Because of that? During that song? Oh, my God.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Don't get me wrong, we do pros and cons on this show about relationships, but let's focus on height and being short. And you know what? There are some. I suppose there's some pros. For me being a tall person, when I get onto a flight, I do look at short people and I go, well, you have so much room there. If I'm in an economy seat, I have to put my legs right and then left to get comfortable because they don't sit in straight out in front whip.
Do you feel like if you walk or go somewhere, maybe you're at the footy and you see somebody else that's tall, you connect with them? Like you note and you throw a wink. It's almost like when you do Movember and you see somebody else with a moustache, you kind of both acknowledge that you have something in common.
Yeah, we do.
Do short people do that? Do they?
Well, do you know what? Do you know what I find really intimidating? People that are taller than me.
Oh, of course. That wouldn't happen very often.
If I look up, because I'm 6'6", if I look up at someone, I'm like, whoa. There's sort of that initial reaction of, wow, I'd love to be like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope you are.
It's,
not.
I think it's an interesting one too, where I remember being at a nightclub one time and there was a tall guy standing out like a giraffe, but there was a very tall girl as well. And they were sort of above the rest, above the crowd. And it was only a natural thing for the two of them to connect. And half an hour later, they're standing at the bar talking. Well, of course they are. I mean, it would be hard for a guy, if you're in a relationship, to have to lean up to kiss your girl.
Well, very awkward for BJ and I kissing on the dance floor when we first started.
You would have broken your neck.
Oh my gosh, we did some heavy passion back in the day. But
yeah, you either need a very flexible neck or a really long tongue.
Well, I do. I'm hunchback now. I have problems with my shoulder blades. My shoulder blades are constantly aching.
He's gone.
Because I feel like I'm just always trying to kiss my wife.
Too
It's
passionate.
very hard to
and
do.
she's running away at the same time.
Can we focus on the small-statured person and the disadvantages of being short? Linda Matheson, she's over in the States. She is a teacher, and she's over there. She had to go get some medication, but because of her height, she made a huge mistake. Have a listen to this.
No, we don't have it, sorry.
Jess. Oh, sorry, I should have set that up before.
What did she do? Have we got it there, Jess, in the system? Type in short person, big mistake.
She left a tip. She thought she was leaving a $5. She thought she's that short whip. She thought she was leaving a $5 tip, but at the counter where she was buying the medication, the counter was so high that she couldn't see over the counter properly. She thought there was a decimal point in there, so she put in. But she put in 3 zeros. She ended up giving the person a $5,000 tip because she was so short and she couldn't see over.
She's reaching up to the machine. The poor thing.
Maya's given us a call from Wahroonga. What's the worst thing about being short, Maya?
Standing in the concert watching your favourite artist and staring at people's backs.
Maya, how tall are you?
4'11".
4'11". 4'11". Okay.
Oh, 4'11", not even 5 foot. So, Maya, is there a plan of attack when you are at a concert or at a music festival? What do you do? What's the best possible place to stand for you to see it?
Well, preferably barricade, but to get there is kind of hard.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, you go for a gap between somewhere that's not too tall.
Yeah.
Maya, do you look for a guy that's short also?
Yeah. Yeah, tall boyfriends and hop on his shoulders, but don't want to disturb other people at a concert because then I feel bad.
No, you can't win.
What's the tallest guy that you've been out with, Maya?
6 foot, 6'2".
Okay.
6 foot. So how does that go kissing? It's quite hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit complicated.
Well, Fitz, remember when we met Sultan, the world's tallest man? And, he turned up in a minivan and they'd taken the middle row of seats out so he could stretch his legs, but he got married to a really short girl. Would have been an interesting wedding night.
That was an amazing period in our lives. When we flew the shortest man in the world over. Dangy. And then... Tommy, the tallest man in the world just happened to be in Sydney, wasn't he? He was on a talking tour.
Yeah, he was on a speaking tour, yeah. And he had to travel around in a special...
The van.
Tarago.
Yeah, that was it.
Where they took all the seats out of the Tarago. Poor bugger. I did feel sorry. You feel sorry for more Sultan, don't you, as the tallest man in the world?
Look, it was hard, also because Dangy and the whole of Sydney got dengue fever. They wanted to meet him. It was awesome. He hadn't seen a lot of the world because his family in Nepal had hidden him a lot of the time because travelling circuses tried to steal him.
That's without a word of a lie. Whipper is not lying there. That is not a joke.
They did. They hit him.
But they had to hide him.
You're going to put him in a basket and run off.
Okay, they're coming again. Somebody grab Dangy. Put him in the bunker now. Go. Marie's given us a call from Mascot. How tall are you, Marie?
4'9".
4 foot. Oh, 4'9". So, what's the disadvantages of that, Marie, for you?
Well, I actually drive a Tarago, and I have to climb in the car every single time to get in.
So you have to use the handle that sits up above?
I do, yes.
Pull yourself in. And then, have you got short parents, Marie? Is that...
Yeah, it's my dad. My mum's just a tad taller than my dad, but my dad is really short, and my nonna was as well.
So you open your car door and a ladder folds out.
I can just imagine.
But yeah, I find it really hard. Like, I sort of swing into the car like a monkey.
Yeah, you would.
I have no choice.
Marie, just at school pickup. Oh, God, here we go again.
Oh, no.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
You've known me for a very long time, sir, and you know that I just love a bit of Eastern Suburbs mum.
Oh, yeah.
This is my favourite TikTok account, Elle Salagaris. She's 29 years of age, and she just puts up. Well, she likes to unbox whip. She likes to go and...
Okay, what's she doing?
Well, she likes to shop,
Yeah,
like a lot of Eastern Suburbs mums do, and then she unboxes. Made a huge mistake over the weekend, which is I think quite relatable, and that's why I thought I'd bring it up the first thing this morning on the show.
Which collagen powder was it?
She went into Hermes.
Well done.
That's how you pronounce it.
Go for it. Yeah, the French should be proud.
She went into the Hermes store and she made a huge mistake. Have a listen to this.
I just did a whole unboxing and I just posted it and it's blurry. But we got new Hermes shoes. I'm also like posting this. I'm filming this on the balcony, like just on a street. Are you ready? New Hermes sheepers. They're literally gorge. They're crocodile. I definitely got very confused about the price, which is my bad. And I had heard one number, so embarrassing. Went up to the checkout and I already had them on my feet because I was wearing them out of the store. And she'd packed up my other shoes and I was just like, it's fine.
Okay, so in regards to the price, so the starting price for the shoes is around $1,300.
Okay.
Right? So she said, okay, I could do that. That's great. But because she picked the crocodile skin whip...
Well, of course.
She's racked up $13,000 for basically a pair of... They're a pair of Uggy sandals.
Oh, you're kidding me.
The sheepskin with crocodile skin sandals.
Oh, they're Ugg boots, are they?
So she's had to go home to the husband and say, well, I've just brought myself a pair of sandals. I thought they were $1,300, but they're $13,000. We can get away with that, can't we?
You're just going to count the zeros. Sometimes they add them on the end, and 1,300 can look like 13,000 and vice versa. It can be very confusing. But the minute you stick your foot into a crocodile's bum, it's going to cost you more.
Oh, look, don't get me wrong. They looked very, very comfortable.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you need the crocodile skin for your sandals? This is the thing. Crocodile skin is a huge business.
Oh, yeah. There's huge farms up north, which they sell. And I think for the Hermes bags, Ryan James, because the big bag they talk about is the Birkin.
And how much does that go for?
Well, that ranges from anywhere from sort of 36 up to over 100, I think.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, but these things... I went to an Hermes store opening once. Little did I know, Hermes treat their products like selling a puppy dog, where I need to make sure that this bag is going to the right home. So if you want to buy one of these bags, Fitz, you can't roll into the store and say, I'll have a Birkin. Where's your range of Birkins? Yeah. You've got to be on the list, and you have to then wait till you're contacted by Hermes to come in and meet the team to see if they think you're appropriate for their bag.
No way.
And they've built this following, which is like a fight to get these bags at ridiculous prices.
Do you have to have a bag interview, like a job interview, where you sit down, they follow you around, they follow your life just to see if you're clean living?
They'll ring 3 of your friends as references and say, how do you think she'd go with a Birkin?
Do you remember when we had Roxy Jacenko in here, and Roxy's actually got a room. Remember, she's got a room set up for all her bags.
Lots of Birkins.
And I said to her, "What's your most expensive bag? Is it your husband, Curtis?"
That didn't go down too well, did it? Those sorts. And Curtis would never sit on the shelf. That's not his style.
No. Well, he had to do a job interview to marry her as well, I think.
I don't know about that. I was not there.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Can we talk about dodgy removalists?
Dodgy removalists.
Now, this is just a theory of who may be responsible, but who would dare do this to one of our greatest athletes ever? Ian Thorpe. God, the amount of
Thorpedo.
Just watching Thorpe, you know how he always used to be behind, usually going into with the last 50 metres of the race, and then Thorpe would come flying home.
I showed the kids that 1,500 not long ago.
He never competed in the 1500 ever.
It's so true. That was Grant Hackett. And I said, guys, we could watch Hacky right now, but I think we're better off watching Thorpe in the 800.
Nope.
400's fine with me.
Yeah, 400, yeah, more 400.
And I said, have a look at this human fish, the torpedo. And I know Thorpe. We all know Thorpe. We've done a lot of stuff on radio over the years. Yeah. And you just can't, to me, I put him up there with the Sydney Harbour Bridge and Uluru as iconic images and objects of Australia.
Gotcha.
How did that sound?
Well said.
Not really,
mate.
but
sounds
thanks.
like you know a lot about him.
Go, Ian, go.
So his manager, James Erskine, has come out on Friday, this is over the weekend, saying that Thorpe unfortunately had $150,000 worth of watches, jewellery, some personal items stolen from his house. Jeez. Now, he's called up his insurers. They said, go and make a police report. Doesn't seem like there was a break-in, though, Whip. So there is a theory going around that he may have been moving apartments. Thus, this morning, we focus on dodgy removalists.
So Ian's gone, all right, can you take my couch to the next apartment? But stay out of my watch drawer. And the removalist has gone, have a look at what Ian's collected over the years.
How do you think you're going to get away with that, honestly?
In the back of a truck.
Do you know what I used, and this is the thing, if you try to go the cheaper version, because they are quite expensive, removalists, but if you try to go a cheaper version, you've got to be ready that something is going to be going wrong. We got some Russian removalists once before, Whip.
Yeah.
God, and my God, I think they were brothers.
Really?
And how aggressive they got with each other. So they basically said, how quickly will you be moving into your place? And I said, well, if you can get it there as quick as you can. And they said, well, we can do the job. We can pick up your stuff all day. We can travel all night and have it in by tomorrow morning. They didn't sleep for 24 hours.
Oh, my God. What was
So we weren't in the new joint yet, but they had everything in there ready. The thing is, though, there was a couple of little pieces of art and stuff like that where the canvas was stretched and, it was...
Yeah.
I think you've got to accept that there's something is going to be damaged. But when it comes to stolen, Louise in Camden's given us a call. You had a dodgy removalist, Louise?
So dodgy.
What happened, Louise?
So, we just got married and we decided that we would get some new furniture when we moved into our new house.
Yeah.
Anyway, we bought this beautiful dining table from Domain. It was the last one. It was on sale. It was
gorgeous.
Retail price was $5,000.
Yeah.
It was the most beautiful table. Anyway, we had it in our garage from the house we were moving from, and my husband said to the guys, listen, when you want to move that table, mind you, it was still in bubble wrap.
Yeah.
When you want to move that table, yell out to my father-in-law and I, because we're going to have to help you because it is really, really heavy.
Gotcha.
Anyway, and it was almost like a child looking at him with a cup of water, tipping it out after saying, don't do it. They just picked it up and they just dropped it right in front of him. And the whole thing just cracked, chipped. It was like a travertine sort of.
Oh, no.
And the whole thing was totally ruined. And they just looked at him and he just was ropeable. I reckon, I wasn't there at the time, but oh my God. He was so angry.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, then they absolutely destroyed our house when we moved. They chipped our front wooden table. They had to come back and get that repaired. They ended up having to try and source us a new dining table, so they ended up finding one, I think, from Harvey Norman, and they had to pay the $5,000
What a disaster. And what a pain in the bum for everyone, Louise. So nobody wins in that situation.
It was months of having no table, so, but they just don't give it. They just don't care.
No. How many hours can you do wandering the floor of Nick Scully?
When you... you're in a fair bit of trouble when you hire a removalist, they rock up to your house and they see some of the heavy items that you've got and you see them looking at each other and go...
What about when you have to fill out the form, Fitz? When you're filling out the form and they go, how many sets of stairs is it up?
I know.
Are there any tight corners? What's the access like? Just shut up and carry the mattress, mate. I know you're Russian. You can't understand me.
Yeah, but it's hard whip. And this is the thing. Usually the guys that are doing the heavy lifting are some poor young bloke who's already tried 3 different trades and he can't even be a concreter, you know? Like he's just, you know what, he's ended up being a removalist. He doesn't want to be here. He just wants to go to KFC for breakfast and be at the pub having his first pint at 11.
Yeah, it's so true.
Donna in East Lakes, did you have a dodgy removalist, Donna?
Yes, I did.
What happened, Don?
We were moving from the country, me and my now husband, and the removalist was meant to arrive at about 2 in the afternoon. So we were hanging around waiting, and he finally arrived at about 7 p.m, and he was on his own, and he had his 3-year-old daughter with him.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
So basically my hubby had to help him move the furniture, and I had to babysit.
You had to babysit. All right. Yeah, just don't take the TV yet. We need to put Peppa Pig on.
So, Donna, all he really provided was a truck for you to put the stuff in because he couldn't do it on his own.
Donna, what a pest, and you became the babysitter. Well done. Thank you for calling.
Tim in Castle Hill, you were a removalist yourself. Who did you hire? Tim?
Oh, look, to be honest, I was at Ambo for 17 years, but on my days off, I used to work as a removalist, and then I have 6 kids. So when I moved, I know. Yeah, exactly. When we moved, I know how long it takes. So I pulled everything apart, moved an entire house into the garage. So it was super easy. So they just had to take it out of the garage and stick in the car, in the back of the truck. Yeah. And the 2 guys turned up. One had no idea what he was doing. I'm pretty sure he was here illegally. Yeah. And then at the end of it all, I moved everything. I lifted everything for them, and they just packed it in the truck. They charged $400 an hour, and then they backed the truck into the neighbour's wall, had a fight with him, turned up at the other end, unloaded straight into a garage. They didn't have to go up a single set of stairs or anything, and then just tried to charge me 2 hours overtime.
Oh no. Tip rats.
Oh, man.
Timmy, thanks for your call. What a stinker.
What is going on?
That is hard work.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Hope you had a great long weekend. Me, I went south, guys. You know what I'm like. Hidden bush when I got a bit of time on my hands is my heaven. You know what annoys me, Fitz? You see me as this private school kid city slicker. No way, mate. I'm up for an all-Aussie adventure any day of the week.
You're more Russell Cook, I would say.
If I can hit the road, mate, if I can hit the open, and I did.
What, how far? Down to the Southern Highlands?
Yeah, down to Barrow.
Hour
and a half out of town, mate. Good to get down there, Mittagong, Mossvale, all the good spots.
Did you update your passport before you went? Did you?
No, this land is ours, mate. Didn't need to. You don't need to go overseas to see the most beautiful country in the world, mate. Just head to God's country down south.
I could see you on a farm one day.
Yeah.
And obviously you'd have around about probably 30 or 40 people doing the role
what do you
for
mean?
you.
I do all the work. I put up a clothesline yesterday. Put up a new Hills hoist. You know, I do all the hands-on jobs.
A new Hills hoist?
It was a wall mounted for the washing. So I do all the big jobs, do all the heavy lifting, mate. And does anybody else do this when you drive into a country area and you might see cattle and you wind your window down a bit and just do a bit of... And you pretend you can see a dog and you just yell out, "Get around him!"
You do
Bring
a moo.
him up.
You do a big moo just to see if you get a reaction.
You do not moo. But yesterday, woke up 6 degrees, feels like -5. Didn't worry me, mate. I wasn't going to let that Hills hoist stay in the box.
Where were you staying?
Well, Lisa's mum and dad's in Barrel. It's not far from the Royal Hotel. Had a beautiful steak and an upper roll spreads, and one of the local Pinots was divine. Sorry, I slipped into... But then I got back in my car, mate, and I headed out. Here was the thing. I was driving along, and it was quite fresh on Sunday morning, and I must have been the first driver on the road because the wind had come through the valley that night, Fitz, and a tree had fallen across the road. And I pulled up, and what do you do when you see a big bit of timber? You look in the boot, and I checked. I didn't have my chainsaw on me. Didn't even have my saw on me. I was caught out. Normally I travel with some sort of cutting device, so all that was left was strength and muscle manpower. I even looked to get a cow to kind of, tie the log to it to drag the tree off the road. Nothing coming in, nothing coming out, mate. Not with this tree.
You just have to alert authorities about it. They'll probably get it fixed for you.
The SES?
Yeah.
No way, man. Not me. So I'm there and I'm trying to lift this tree off the road. And it's a big tree, mate. Yeah. We're not talking sticks and kindling here. We're talking big logs and fallen trees.
Like how big was the tree?
10 metres, 10 to 15 to 20 metres high. It'd fallen straight across the road. And I'm trying to pull it one way because it had sort of snapped, and I thought if I can continue to break it at the fork where it had already cracked, then I'm going to be able to, but I'm lifting it, it's cracking. I could not move it. So I'm there for a good 20 minutes, and Lisa was meeting me for pastries in town. So there I am. Anyway, another car off in the distance. I see some dust on the road, and I went, good, the locals are on. So I'm there.
It wasn't your nanny, was it?
No, it wasn't a nanny, no.
Okay,
it was Jeeves. He was bringing me my pastry because I couldn't get to him. So anyway, this Hilux turns up.
Yeah. 4
blokes get out of the car. And they're real blokes. So now there's 5 real blokes. Anyway, there's 5 absolute local weapons trying to shift this tree off the road.
Yeah.
So we can't pull it one way, but we can't pull it the other way. So we decide to flip the tree. So we're literally hands under the tree, pushing it off the road. So we're rolling it over, and momentum goes the other way. Anyway, I'm here with my boys, my lads, and we push the tree over, and I go, grabbing my shoulder. One of them goes, are you all right? And I said, yeah, I'm just sore from Pilates. Now, I've never seen 4 guys get back in a ute quicker than I'm sore from Pilates and get out of here.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
It's one of the greatest one-liners of all time. It's one of the greatest pranks that you can do. And I know it's at the expense of someone else's misfortune.
Which one?
Well, when someone unfortunately has a bit of a bingle in their car and they can't get their car going again, and they're on the side of the road. Oh no, I've dinged my car up, and now there's nothing I can do about it. To drive past and just wind down your window and just to say the words, "You can't park there, mate."
Good gear. Really good gear.
I mean, it happens quite a bit. There was a bus. There was a public. There was a bus over in London, and the bus driver's gone up on the side of the road. He's basically skewered a street sign whip, so it's actually skewered, come up through the bus, and he couldn't move the bus anymore. And then everyone's frustrated because now they've got to get off the bus and go and find another bus. And then this guy grabs his phone and walks past.
Geezer, mate, you can't park there.
Hello, this is not the time to talk this, okay?
Joking now, so people could have been accident. Just stop.
Don't you start. Who put it on Facebook? I'm just letting him know he can't park there. Look, state of that. Oh, mate.
It's simple, but it's so effective. Here's the Australian version, and one of my favourite Instagram accounts is Humans of Bankstown. So this guy's got a hotted up car. He's probably revved it a little bit too much, gone up on the side of the road, and he's standing there with his hands on his head going, "What have I done?" And this guy's driven past.
Can't park there, mate.
He didn't like the joke. I don't know why.
Can we hear it one? Can we hear it one more time? The Australian version.
Can't park there, mate.
Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.